Hi, folks. Bob Mannery here. You're listening to A2D Radio, real sports talk radio for the fans, by the fans, no agenda. These guys are the best in the business. Hashtag it. No notes.
It's Monday night, everyone. Sports Hounds are live from the Real Talk Studios, Runnymede, New Jersey. I'm Rob Brakeman. He's Brad Ryer. Frank Vesby producing. As always, Sports Hound talked to you by Specialized Physical Therapy, Dr. Paul Vidal, 3 convenient locations. Visit specializedphysicaltherapy.com for more details. We're on Facebook. We're on Periscope. We're on Instagram. Stream us. Download us later. Spotify, Google Play, iTunes. Everywhere. The takeover is real. We're the best in the business. Hashtag it. No notes. That is not Tom Arnone's intellectual property. That is a company-wide hashtag that's on all of our merchandise, which you can get online. I believe it's drinkers.com. Check out anyone here.
PhillyDrinkers.com.
PhillyDrinkers.com. Buy A2D stuff. Get in on the ground floor. Takeover is real. Join the debate. We're talking Sixers. We're talking NHL trade deadline. We're talking NFL, CBA rule changes, and we're talking MLB spring training. Sixers in action right now at home against the Atlanta Hawks, Brad, bringing us to our poll of the day, brought to you by Ambuck Services. They're the best in the business at what they do, cleaning your gutters, landscaping. Visit ambuckservices.com for all information on their services. It's real simple tonight. Joel Embiid is a top 10 player in the NBA because he's going to have to be a top 5 player in the NBA for this team to get to where they want to go with no Ben Simmons. So I don't think he's a top 10 player in the NBA. Too temperamental and too inconsistent for me, Brad.
I disagree.
You disagree?
I
okay.
disagree. I think he is a top 10 player.
You think he's a top 10 player?
He's a dominant player. When the problem with Joel Embiid is that every once in a while, he seems to just lose focus and not be part of the game. He's just when Joel Embiid is engaged, he's one of the top 5 players of the game.
When? Big caps lock, W-H-E-N.
I understand
when
that.
he's engaged.
When he's engaged. The best thing to do with Joel Embiid, if you're the other team, is don't get him mad.
No.
Because it seems like when he goes out there, he's like the gentle giant. But boy, if you get him mad,
No. When he's the best is when, because Joe listens to outside noise. He listens to
when he gets mad.
Listens to me and you in the Real Talk Studios. He listens to Shaq and Charles Barkley on
when he
inside
gets mad,
the NBA.
That's when he plays well.
That's my point. He reads the newspaper. He reads the headline. All these jabrones say they don't read the newspaper. They don't listen to outside noise. They're liars. They're liars. They hear everything. They see everything. And if they don't see or hear it, there's some intern like me or you telling them what's going on the outside.
Oh, absolutely.
Joel Embiid, that's when he gets mad.
Well, he gets rabbit ears for sure. I mean, they all do.
Because he hears Charles Barkley and Shaquille O'Neal criticize him. Then he'll be engaged for a game, maybe 2, maybe 3 in a row. But, he plays great.
But I think in the playoffs, he will be engaged.
I hope so.
So whoever they play against, it's really – I don't think it's going to be Embiid is not going to be the issue. It's the other guys. Some of the other guys have to step up and help him out.
Well, if Ben Simmons, which this back situation, every time we get an update about it, it seems worse and worse. And you've been around sports. Not your first time around the block when it comes to sports.
Backs
injuries.
are bad.
Backs are tough.
Yeah, I know.
They're finicky. They can flare up at any time. It's not good.
No, and when they flare up, you never know how long it's gonna hurt.
So
and there's
this
really
is not
nothing
good.
you can do. There's really nothing you can do when you have a bad back except just wait for the pain to go away. I mean, other than surgery, if surgery is needed, some people just develop bad backs. It's unfortunate, but that's just the way it is. I mean, I can remember one of my favorite baseball players ever, Don Mattingly. Once his back went, he was done.
Frank, are we up on the social media? We're up up and running?
We're definitely we're up on Facebook.
Yeah, we had a little technical difficulty
flip.
over on the Facebook stream, so I had to restart that. We are still good on YouTube and
Live
Periscope and Instagram, so we are back on.
All right, there you go. Facebook,
platforms.
all the platforms up and ready to go. We're looking ready to go. Well, let's make a list real quick. Who are the players that are better than Joel Embiid? Obviously, my list is longer than yours because you think he's a top 10 player in the league, which I can't get
I think
there
he's
with him
close
yet.
to a top 5 player, quite honest. I mean, not necessarily – this is not necessarily the best players in the league in order, okay, but obviously Antetokounmpo.
Giannis is it's either him or LeBron.
Yeah,
They're
LeBron,
like 1 and
him,
1A.
LeBron, I mean, you can't really argue when you can't really argue about what's his name out in with the Clippers.
Kawhi. Better than Joel Embiid. Yes, that's 3.
Yeah, that's 3. That's at least 3. I mean,
LeBron, Anthony Davis is better than Joe.
When Steph is playing, he's obviously better.
Yes.
So that's 4.
Durant when he's playing.
Right. He's okay. I'll give you him.
What about James Harden?
Yeah.
That's tough.
I mean, but neither one of them.
Because Harden's just his style of play is just not conducive to winning basketball.
Yeah, I know, but one thing you have to admit about Harden though, he doesn't take any nights off. That's I think what infuriates people about Embiid. It's just he's one of these guys when he's really engaged and focused on playing the game, he's virtually unstoppable. But he shows you that, and then and it's like then he goes to sleep, and it's hard to understand, and it's hard to understand why he plays such lousy defense. That I can't understand. He's an athletic player. There's no reason why he can't move his feet a little bit. If somebody could get him to learn how to move his feet a little bit on defense, he certainly can move them on offense. That's really all there is.
I hear you.
And have a little, he had a mean streak last year against Brooklyn in the playoffs. Where's that mean streak?
I'd like to see it more consistently. I think if he had that, that more consistently,
if he had that edge, he
misses too many games.
Yeah,
he misses a lot of games.
He does. But you know what? Hopefully this year he's in shape and he's ready to go in the playoffs and he doesn't get sick. Because I do think that really hurt him against the Raptors. But here's my questions here, Rob. Was last year, did the window close after last year? After they traded Butler?
Did the window close after last year? No, the window didn't close. You still have 2 young stars, even though Joe frustrates me to the fullest. Ben frustrates me too sometimes, but I think Ben's the catalyst of this team, not Joe. It's a guard league, and sorry, I'm going to take the point guard who can defend every position on the floor, and if he's aggressive like he's been aggressive this year, and he makes his free throws like he's been making this year, the sky's the limit for the kid. I don't care how he gets his 25 points, whether he shoots a bunch of 3 bombs or not. If he's aggressive and gets to the rim and gets to 25, that's fine.
If he dunks for 25 or if he's shooting threes for 25, it doesn't really matter.
Everyone wants to tell me that, a rim protector is super important in the NBA. Yeah, okay, I get it. I'll bite on that, but it's not more important than perimeter defense when so many teams, the Atlanta Hawks being one of them, live and die by the 3. The Hawks and then Sixers up big right now, 27-13 at the Wells Fargo Center.
As usual, playing their outstanding game at home.
Playing the Hawks. Shake Milton gets the start over Raul Neto. Thank God. If I ever see Raul Neto in the starting lineup again, I'm going to lose my mind.
Shake looks like a good player. He really does.
I like Shake. At
he looks like a good player.
SMU in college. He was a good player. I think he played there when Larry Brown was still the coach, if I'm not mistaken, down there at SMU.
That I would have to check because I don't know that.
I'm pretty sure. But the whole key to this game, and they've done the Hawks aren't really hitting their open shots, but the whole key to this game is pick and roll defense. You got to fight through these screens and get a hand up in Trae Young's face, because if you give him enough open looks, he's going to bury you. He's a 50-point explosion waiting to happen. And Joe has to be Joe. They're doing a great job thus far. They're up, what, 9?
I think they're up 9 or they're up 11 now.
Up 11.
And at the
That's
foul
not
line.
my strong suit. At the foul line. Korkmaz is in the game. But, like, I don't know what it is about this team I just can't get behind. I don't know what it is. And some people want to call me the crumb of the day for not being able to get behind this team. They're just an unlikable team. I don't enjoy following them. That's just a headache.
Part of the problem with them is that they are so they're it seems like they seem to enjoy adversity. They seem to play their best when they're when it looks like the world is coming to an end for them. That's when they seem to play their best basketball. But then they're not consistent. I mean, true, it's a long season, and you know what? I'm going to pass judgment on them when they get to the playoffs, and we'll see what happens when they make the playoffs.
But look at it. Look at it from this perspective. So I'm fucking knee-jerk Brinkman, and I flip-flop that and forth. This industry does. How I react to what I see in the now. That's all that matters to me is what happens right now. If this team wants to go flip a switch in the playoffs and make me look like the biggest crumb in the world and go to the NBA Finals and win the NBA Finals, I'll be ecstatic because I am a Philadelphia sports fan. Prior to what others believe in the fam, outside the family, and on social media. I want to see this team do well. But it's just night after night. It's just headache after headache. Like Joel Embiid. Ben leaves the game. He played, 4 minutes against the Bucks on Saturday night. He leaves with a bag. He re-injures his back. He goes to the locker room. Like, they needed Joe there. They needed Joe to step up, take the bull by the horns, and at least keep him. I get it. Milwaukee's an unbelievable team.
But the other problem is it's kind of like he's not as good as Antetokounmpo, whatever.
Okay,
Antetokounmpo.
Giannis. Just say Giannis. There you go.
He's not as good as he is.
It's like Prince, man.
Well, no.
All you gotta do is say his first name.
Yeah. No, I understand. It's like the Nick conundrum back in the '90s when they used to play Houston. Okay, if Sprewell and Houston weren't playing well, okay, and then they had to depend on Patrick when they played Houston. Patrick couldn't beat Olajuwon. He just couldn't.
He wasn't as good.
No, and he couldn't beat Shaq either.
And that's the problem with the Sixers.
That's the problem. That's the problem with Joe against Giannis. If Ben isn't there, Joe is not better than Giannis. Maybe on his best day, and if Giannis is having an off night,
then how can you say he's close to a top 5 player if he can't?
He is, but Giannis is just so good right now.
I get it.
He right now he is him and LeBron are right
they're
now.
1 and 1A.
Yeah, they're the two best in the
league. I guess
right now.
I mean,
it
might even be that's a crumb move to give co-MVPs, but it might be co-MVPs between LeBron and Giannis. That's how good both of them are, and that's how neck and neck I see it in the MVP.
That's how impactful they are.
MVP is.
Yeah.
But, Ben goes out of the game on Saturday. They're getting roasted. And, then Brett goes with Horford for 7 minutes.
He's
seven
trying to do anything
7 of the
he
12
could.
minutes out of the first quarter go to Al Horford, and Joe only plays 5. I guess that minus 30 against Brooklyn really got him in good graces with Brett Brown, so he gets 7 of the 12 minutes in the first quarter. It just doesn't make any sense. You needed Joe to be Joe on Saturday, and he comes out, he has 17 points on 18 shots, extremely inefficient. He gets 11 rebounds, and he always makes his foul shots. It's the one thing I'll say that I do appreciate about Joel Embiid. He always makes his foul shots.
Well,
he's close to an 85% free throw shooter.
Yeah, not that many centers do that.
Not at all. Not at all.
No, not a lot. There are a lot of centers who are very bad foul shooters.
So, now they're going to win. They're going to win tonight. They're not going to lose to this team. The Hawks, they stink, even though I thought they might be kind of good at the beginning of the year. They stink. They're the worst road team in the NBA.
Yeah, they stink on the road.
And then, what I don't understand about Sixers fans is tomorrow on my timeline, after all the fisticuffs I dealt with on Facebook today, when they blow out the Hawks tonight, everyone's going to be on my Facebook telling me I'm a crumb, thinking this team's fixed and thinking this team's okay.
Yeah, but
this team is not okay.
The problem is you would expect that they're going to beat the Hawks.
Correct.
I mean, it's like when they play the Knicks or Brooklyn. There are certain teams they own. The
Yeah,
The
the
Hawks
teams
not
that are
getting-
the teams that fucking stink.
Yeah, they're going to beat bad teams at home. The Nets aren't a bad team. I shouldn't pick on them like that, but
They're not a contender.
but they're not a championship. Listen, they're under 500. I mean, they'll make the playoffs, but I'm sorry, if you're under 500, I mean, no respect.
This team's best path to winning a playoff series, which again, I live in the now. Now is the only thing that matters
They have
to
to
me.
finish fourth
Not
or
a
fifth.
projector. I want them to finish 6th. I want to play Boston. I think you can beat Boston 4 out of 7 if Ben is there
Okay.
healthy.
Okay, yeah. They've had
'Cause
success against Boston.
I think they
this
match
year.
up. I mean, I know they just got blown out by Boston because they quit like a
Yeah,
bunch.
but you can't expect to beat them, to sweep Boston.
Yeah,
in
but they
4
quit.
games.
They lost
I-
by 25 and they quit.
I know, I understand, Rob, but let's be realistic about
And-
one thing, okay? I mean, they're not going to beat Boston 4 straight. That's asking a lot.
No, but that's part of the reason I'd be optimistic in a playoff series against Boston.
Okay, no, I understand that. I'm just saying. I mean, at the beginning of the season, if somebody told you in the season series between the Sixers and the Celtics, the Sixers are going to win 3 out of 4, you'll sign for that right now.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I mean,
My criticism is not that they lost that game to Boston; it's that they quit in the game
well,
against Boston.
They do have a habit of doing that. I mean, you would like.
I don't
like to
care
see-
that they lose games. I'm not a fucking moron. Like I know the teams are going to lose games over an 82-game season, over a 162-game season, over a 16-game season. I understand that, but it's the manner in which the teams lose that either makes me okay with it or irritates me. And every time the Sixers team loses, they find a way to just irritate me. The whole key to this game tonight, and I'm going to lock in when we talk about hockey, I'm going to tee you up with some hockey. The trade deadlines today, and we got some real jockeying in the Metro Division. But the whole key to this game against the Hawks is defending the pick and roll. They got to fight through the screens, go high on the screens, and get a hand in Trae Young's face. And if he dribble past you and penetrates you, let him 2-point you to death all night. Because 2 is not as much as 3.
Agreed.
Because he's going to make every 3 he's open for if you give him enough chances. So we'll see how it transpires. But
They'll blow them out tonight. I mean, the one thing the Sixers have done pretty much is just be an outstanding home team. They really have been good at home.
But they're not beating Milwaukee in a 7-game series.
No, I agree. I don't
Even
think
with
they're
Ben.
beating-
Fully healthy, I'm talking about.
No, they're not going to
Fully
beat them.
healthy.
I don't know that they're going to beat Toronto either.
Which they're never fully healthy.
I don't know if they're going to beat
That's
Toronto
why I love
either.
the excuse, oh, wait till we're healthy. They're never healthy. And if they are healthy, someone has to rest. So they can't build any type of continuity ever because load management is way too big a thing in the soft NBA. Way too much. You can't beat Toronto in a 7-game series. Toronto might win the East again, even with losing Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah,
They are
they're really
absolutely tremendous. They're unreachable stars for this Sixers team, no matter what. It ain't happening. And they probably Milwaukee or Toronto probably wouldn't even have to work that hard to beat this version of the Sixers.
Well, if the Sixers have Ben Simmons, they're going to have to work hard.
Indiana
But
and Miami.
The problem is with the Sixers is that they're not a reliable road team. So if they slip, they're not going to have home court advantage. And if they slip up at home and lose a home game,
Yeah.
they're finished.
Then it's
That's
panic time.
Yeah, they're finished because of how badly they've played on the road. That's the problem you've got right now. Unless they learn to play on the road this season, I mean maybe they will.
They're not going to learn how to play on the road. I mean, we're 60 games in, Brad.
Yeah, but it's never too late.
I mean, it's not how professional sports work. Like, you can't just flip a switch and be good in what
Yeah, but you
month
can
is
get-
it?
but
The
you
end
can
of
get-
February.
But you can get hot and start playing better on the road. I mean, I'm going to go to hockey for a second and give you a comparable. My New York Rangers at the beginning of the season, they couldn't win a road game if they couldn't win a road game if the other team was wearing blindfolds. Okay, now they've won 7 in a row on the road. It can happen. You know, all of a sudden, for some reason,
Get what
they
you're
got
saying,
relaxed.
and you're
They
not
got
wrong,
relaxed.
but,
and
like,
they were relaxed and started playing good and playing well on the road. And you know, they took their home ice and started playing well on the road. They learned how to play on the road. This group has to learn how to play on the road.
They need to learn how to face adversity
Yeah, well,
and
I
not
mean, that
mope
too.
around because Joel Embiid, he's the leader of the team.
Listen, every
I
team,
don't think he's the straw.
every team especially in basketball, is going to have spurts. It's just it's part of the game. It's going to be, every team's going to have runs, but it's how you limit those runs that's going to get you where you got to go.
And I hear you. And I hear you about the road thing. It's different in the NBA than the NHL, obviously. But I hear you. But like I said, I'm a now guy. What about this team right now or anything that's happened in the past indicates that this team can just flip a switch and win games on the road?
Well, why are they so good at home then?
I mean,
why is it?
it's an anomaly how good they are at home.
Yeah, but why is it that
They're
can
just
play,
having a special season at home.
but they play great defense at home, and they play matador defense on the road. Why is that?
It's my
That's
where my beef.
That's
Where my beef with the coach
That's what
comes
it-
into play.
That's what I don't understand.
You need to come like when you're playing.
They played it. We saw them in this very studio a few weeks ago play Atlanta. Okay?
Yeah.
They lost that game.
Yes.
We saw them. They weren't guarding anybody. In this game, they're getting steals. Atlanta's not getting any shots. As a matter of fact, somebody is sitting on the bench right there.
Atlanta's they've missed some open threes by my
I
glasses.
understand that, but my whole point is the Sixers are up in your face. They're playing physical. Guys on the other team are are being medically repaired on the bench. I mean, they don't play that way on the road. Why?
That's my beef with the coach.
It's not just the coach, though.
I understand.
The players have to be. I understand that
But
the Philadelphia sports fans are very passionate fans, and and especially with basketball, how close they are to the floor, how it can rub off on the team. I understand that, and I understand in the NBA it's a little different than the NHL because they're right on the court. These people, and you can really feed off their juice. But I mean, they shouldn't. The bottom line is they should be able to motivate themselves on the road.
But they can't for whatever reason, and that's where you need a coach to nudge them in the right direction. And Brett Brown cares more about being their friend than their coach, which is my main beef with Brett Brown. Outside of the X and O's, which is are terrible.
But the player, I think
are
the players,
terrible either way.
I think the players buy into what he wants to do. I don't think that's
But what do they
issue.
do? They
I
don't
mean,
run
I don't
any
know. I'm
half-court sets. Their half-court sets are a joke.
Well, they either they're like the rest of the NBA. They either are shooting threes or they're trying to get layups or dunks.
Their whole offense is having Ben push pace, which works great because Ben's really good at that.
Yeah, and he's almost
Or
unstoppable going
if you
to the
don't-
basket.
If they don't, and then their other play is an ISO on the wing with Embiid. That's all you got. That's all you got.
Well,
you got
to
two
be
sets.
fair, though-
One's not even a
to be
set
fair-
because it's fast break.
To be fair, though, if Embiid gets inside, nobody's going to stop him.
But I guess my point being, and we're going to get to your comments right here on the Facebook and the YouTube right after this comment, that the players are inside their comfort zone at home. You know what I'm saying? Drive their own car to the game. They sleep in their own bed before the night. Everything's
No,
perfect.
I understand.
Plus, they're
that.
talented. They go on the road and they're out of their comfort zone. They got to sleep in a strange hotel.
I understand
Maybe it's
that,
a
but
cool city like Miami or Atlanta where you can, get into some
Yeah, no,
extracurricular
I
activities the
understand
night
that.
before. They're
I
outside
understand
their
that.
comfort zone. It's the coach, the adult's job to rein them in and tell them to buck up and get it done. And I don't think Brett has that in him because he wants to be their friend.
he may not, and ultimately,
And the second that this team faces adversity, whether it's before a game or during a game, Joe's body language goes to shit, and the wheels completely come off. I don't understand how anybody can sit there and tell me that Joel Embiid is more important to this team's success than Ben Simmons.
Well, ultimately,
I don't understand it.
Ultimately, they are both going to have to figure it out, and they are going to need both of them to be playing healthy and to be feeding off of each other if they're going to get it done this year. They have to.
But like I said before, you can't beat Milwaukee, you can't beat Toronto. I love the Heat. They're not as talented as the Sixers, but they're a better basketball team than the Sixers. They're well constructed. They're well coached. They have a superstar in Jimmy Butler. All their pieces fit together like a puzzle. And Indiana,
ultimately,
nobody can score on Indiana since Oladipo came back.
If the Sixers don't at least get to the conference finals this year, Brett Brown's going to be gone.
You sure?
Yeah, I think so.
Josh Harris is a soft owner.
Nah,
he's soft owner.
I think he's going to be
soft owner. He conned the fans. Con the fan base. That's
Yeah,
another.
listen, last year you can understand, okay? Because honestly, I mean, you get a rim rattler at the buzzer that goes in, and then you lose a tough 7-game series to the eventual NBA champions. Okay, I give Brett Brown a pass for that. I mean, that's basketball. It happens. That shot could have just as easily popped out instead of going in, and maybe it would have been the Sixers in the NBA Finals, but it wasn't. But this year they've got to, as I said, at least the conference finals. If they got to the conference finals, Rob, and they lost a tough 7-game series to the Bucks, okay, I think I could live with that if I'm a Sixer fan.
In what round?
The conference finals. If they get to the,
that's the furthest. I mean, okay, we'll play ball a little bit here. If they get to the Eastern Conference Finals,
and they lose a tough 7-game series to the Bucks, you could live with that. He'll keep his job. But if they get knocked out in the first round, it's
the most likely of scenarios.
Well, then he's
the only team I
gone.
feel good about them playing in the first round of the playoffs that I think they can realistically win is against the Boston Celtics.
Then he's not going to be the coach next year. I mean, it's plain and simple. The Philadelphia sports community will end up putting enough pressure on ownership to make a change, and that's going to have to happen.
But I'm scared that they're going to give him one more year.
What about Elton Brand? Doesn't he have any say in it?
But he just got named the GM, and
I understand that. But he is the GM. He supposedly is responsible for the coach. If he doesn't think the coach is doing a good job, he needs to replace the coach. Because if he doesn't replace the coach and they keep losing, then they're going to fire both the coach and the GM. So, I mean, he's got to have a little say, too. If Elton Brand goes to the owner and says, hey, we need a new coach, they're going to get a new coach.
I hope.
Well,
look, I think you want to talk about crumbs of the week. I mean, Josh Harris is king of the castle when it comes to that. I mean, he perpetrates this process where losing on purpose is acceptable because I was told and I bought into the fact that, losing on purpose and getting all these high draft picks is the only way you can build a contender in the NBA. It's not true at all. It's a bunch of fake news, and Josh Harris is 1,000% responsible for letting that nonsense go on with Sam Hinkie. That was total nonsense. Even though I bought into it at the time, I'm ashamed I bought into it because it was complete and utter nonsense. And Sam Hinkie didn't draft good enough for the process to work. You miss on Okafor. You miss on Saric. You make a ridiculous trade with Boston. You get stuck with Fultz, who's not even here anymore, and they have Jason Tatum, who's on his way to being a max player. So Josh Harris,
that was the killer trade.
Elton Brand constructed this team. Tobias Harris, 5 years, $180 million, might be the worst contract in sports.
And
if that's not the worst contract in sports, Al Horford.
Nah, Chris Davis.
Chris Davis
of the Orioles.
Oh yeah, that was bad too.
Yeah, that's worse.
Yeah, because didn't he strike out 48 straight at bats?
No, he went 0 for 48.
He didn't strike. Yeah, you can't strike out 48 straight at bats.
No, he didn't. No. But he went 0 for 48.
But and if Tobias Harris isn't the worst contract in basketball, Al Horford's is, because he's making $28 million to do nothing. And you remember what I said about Al Horford back in the summer? I was extremely skeptical of that signing.
You were more skeptical about Tobias Harris. You didn't stop complaining about that one either. You just said he's a good player, but come on, not 180.
I get it, yeah.
180 million. You were all over that one. I mean,
he's just not a max player, and that's what free agency is. Free agency is designed for the B and C player to get A player money.
No,
that's why they have it collectively bargained.
I understand that.
So I get you're going to overpay.
But when you're
85 for 180 for this guy, I mean, holy smokes.
Listen,
Al Horford, he hasn't given you nothing all year.
Anytime you sign a player in free agency, a big time player, you're going to pay a lot. It is what it is. Even even if it's not the A or the A plus players, even the B plus players, you're going to pay A plus money.
Swing. I don't like that shot at all, but whatever. You're up by
17.
Up by 17. You got 8 minutes left in the second quarter. All right, we've ignored the fam for too long down our rabbit hole here. All right, what do we got on YouTube, Brad? Anything?
Not really. Just Eagles. Eagles Champs 1 wants to talk Eagles, but we'll talk some Eagles later.
We're gonna talk
We'll get to the
second
NFL.
half of the show.
Yeah.
We're gonna be talking.
We will.
We'll be talking hot Eagles, football, NFL. Because
See any of the XFL yesterday?
I was watching the XFL on Saturday for the first time.
Okay, I was watching for the first time yesterday. I was watching LA and DC yesterday.
That's Cardell Jones's team.
Yeah, Cordell Jones was pretty good yesterday.
He should be in the league, but I guess it's not a bad move for him to
No, it's not a bad move
be
for
the
him to get
star
some
of the
reps.
XFL. Maybe
They also have I can't remember the guy who had a phenomenal game. Everybody was calling him Mr. Excitement. He does a front flip into the end zone.
Yeah. Well, that's what they need. They need stuff like that.
Yeah, well, yeah, no,
I love their kickoffs.
I'll tell you what. Oh, yeah, I do too. I love their kickoffs. I love the fact that they can review every play if they want to review every play. If it's without the
Now,
stupidity.
let
of
me ask you
challenges.
something, because it sounds like you've watched more XFL than me. And Frank, if you know the answer, you can hop in too. Now, on their kick returns, do they kick off from the same point of the NFL?
I think so. I think they do kick off.
Because there's always returns, so they don't have kickers with the leg for it to be a touchback.
No, they're
every
catching.
time.
They're catching the ball around the 10-15 yard line.
But is that because they're kicking from the 15, or is that because the kickers aren't good enough to kick it that far?
Let's
You know what?
see, kickoff.
Honestly, I didn't really notice.
Me neither.
Yeah,
All right, the
I didn't-
kicker.
I mean,
all right.
I'm
my
not gonna
biggest-
lie. I didn't know. I didn't really notice. I didn't notice.
Because I
that
hate the
closely.
NFL.
All right,
how
I
the
got the rules
kickoffs,
up from,
kickoffs obsolete.
Well, that's Goodell.
courtesy of the XFL. The kickoffs are from the 30-yard line and must kick the ball in the air and play between the opponent's 20-yard line and the end zone.
So they're not allowed to kick it through the end zone.
They're not allowed to kick it through the end zone.
What a great rule. Bravo. Is Vince McMahon, is he still the boss of it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Right? It's his league,
And,
right?
it's his league, and you know what? Here's
And the
thing.
commissioner is Oliver Luck, if I'm
Vin-
correct.
Yeah,
Vinny-
because I've seen him on.
Vinny Jr. has enough money that this league will be solvent. They're not going to go bust. So, I mean, I think this league could actually
And I
work.
think he learned from last time, because last time he tried to do the XFL, he went too over the top.
Yeah, he did. But I think this time they got Dean Blandino, for crying out loud. He's on. He was on yesterday.
That guy blows.
Yeah, but he was explaining the rules and and he knows the difference between the XFL and the NFL rules. XFL, by the way, only needs to get 1 foot in bounds on a reception.
I don't hate that either.
Yeah, I don't either.
All right,
But, yeah,
let's get to our comments. We're talking about the XFL and later on in the show. Crumb Cake edition of the Sports Hounds. Here we go. It's from Mike Parker. I'm with you, Rob. This team is not who we thought they were. That's all I'm saying. Look, everyone wants to say I'm a Sixers hater. I sat right here. Well, we weren't in this studio. We were in the old studio. But I sat right here. I said I thought the Sixers were going to win the Eastern Conference and play the Los Angeles Lakers in the NBA Finals.
We got some. We have a comment from Bryce Blackwell.
Bryce.
How you doing, Bryce? Good trade, Flyers. He wants us to talk baseball too.
Yeah, we're going to talk baseball.
We are going to talk baseball. The Flyers made some good moves today. I like the Grant move, by the way.
Dave Collins, Mike Parker. If the Sixers don't beat the Hawks by 10, it's an issue. Clearly, Mike bet on the game because the spread was 9.
Okay, well, whatever. That's
Not fooling me, Parker. David Collins.
Oh boy.
Brett's got to go. Our home percentage says it all. We don't have a personnel issue. We have a coaching issue. Don't disagree with Dave Collins right there.
Well,
I don't disagree
I
with
know
him at
you've
all.
been-
I've been
I know
saying
you've
this
been
for a
saying
month.
that.
I love how I've had this figured out for weeks, for fucking weeks about this team, how they're a bunch of frauds, how they're not going anywhere, and they're just not as good as we thought they were in the preseason. They're a talented team. They're not a good team. Now that everyone's starting to realize I'm right, the A2D fam's kind of lashing out. Like it's my fault they blow and not.
Well, of course it's your fault.
Yeah, it's my fault
Well,
they
it's-
suck.
it's
It's not
all-
Brett Brown's fault. It's not Joshua Harris' fault. It's not Elton Brand's fault. It's not the players' fault. It's my fault.
Well, they lash out at me when the Eagles lose. So.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It is what it is. But
Let me
of course,
tell you something. I've blown a lot of defensive assignments this year out there on the floor, everyone.
and Jesus Reyes, how are you? He says, "What's up?" Say hello to you too. I mean, the Sixers right now, they have a 15-point lead, going towards the end of the first half. I mean, as they'll easily win.
They're
this
midway
game.
through the second. It's 51-36. They're cruising.
Yeah,
Atlanta's
they're
just
fine.
not good though, folks. Like,
Yeah.
is my outlook on this basketball team supposed to change because they beat the Hawks by 1,000,000 points? A bad basketball team with one good player, two good players, if you want to throw John Collins in there.
Well, I mean, the
Am
bottom
I supposed to
line-
be impressed by that? Is that supposed to change my whole outlook? Am I supposed to think they're going to go to the Eastern Conference Finals now because they beat the Hawks? Because
At home.
because they play Cleveland next and then the Knicks after that. So they're going to
they're
have a
gonna win.
3-game win streak and then everything's going to be fixed? And everyone's going to be blowing up my timeline about how I'm a crumb and I hate the Sixers and I'm a big villain and I don't know what I'm talking about? Like, I mean, are we serious right now? Like, and I'm glad that they're winning right now. A win's a win, and they're doing what they're supposed to. They're at home against a bad team, and they're taking it to them. That's an unbelievable take. Was that Trae Young? He's so good.
that was a nice play.
It's a great take.
Yeah,
Let him do that, though. That's a layup. That's 2 points. It's not a bomb or three.
Listen, he's a star. He's going to score points. I mean, it is what it is. You know, Philadelphia just marches right down the court afterwards, and now they're at the foul line.
Mike
So, I mean,
Parker.
that's a professional way of handling that.
Mike Parker, point guard by committee tonight, but Trae scores 45. I mean, Trae's going to score 45 anyway. He could score 45 with Ben on him.
Doesn't
that's
ma-
how good
but
he
it doesn't,
is.
But it doesn't matter as long as you win the game.
And the point guard by committee is something that I'll agree with as long as Raul Neto is nowhere near that point guard by committee. What else we got here? Mike Parter, agree, Rob. Soft load management when we have healthy someone has to sit. Anything can happen in the playoffs. That's from Dave Collins. I mean, I'm sorry. Like, I can't just think that this team is going to flip a switch and be some playoff monster when they've been soft for a whole 82-game regular season.
We're gonna get back to the same thing, and the same thing I've been saying. They really need to get into fourth place. They need to have home court. If they're gonna
No, I think they need to manipulate the standings as you come down the stretch to play Boston because I don't think you can beat Miami, Indiana.
I think
Toronto or Milwaukee.
I think they might be able to beat Indiana and Miami if they have home court advantage, because they've really been good at home. The problem is if they don't have home court and the way they're playing on the road, you know, as I said, one slip up at home and it's then they have to win 2 games on the road. That's too hard to do. You know, I mean, because sometimes teams do slip up at home if they have home court advantage. Okay. If they slip up at home, they win 1 road game. They're back on pace again.
But even if they have, just hear me out. Even if they have home court advantage, and Indiana, Miami, Boston, Toronto, Milwaukee, they're good teams. I don't care how good you are at home. They could come in, they can beat you.
But the Sixers have had a lot of success.
I'm just saying, if you lose a home game, your back's up in the corner because we just talked about at the top of the show how this team 1,000% listens to outside noise. They're going to say, oh, well, they can't even win at home. How are they going to win these road games? And then that's when, they tighten up and they're going to play bad.
Okay. Jesus Reyes wants to know, do we like the 76ers? I'm not a 76er fan.
Brad's a Knicks fan.
I'm a Knicks fan.
I think Tom Arnone revoked my 76ers fan card today. So I guess I'm not a fan either.
Rob is a
So I
big
forgot
76ers
if you're
fan.
critical of any Philadelphia sports team at any point, your fan card gets ripped to shreds. So I guess I'm out when it comes to what's up.
I can give it back to you.
Only Tom can give it back. He's the god of Philadelphia sports
All
talk.
right, hold on. Let me make the card.
Make one
back.
up. Make
yeah,
one
I'm
up.
making a card right now.
Okay.
All right, Frank's making my card so I can be a Philadelphia sports fan again.
Yeah, I'm not a Philadelphia sports
But I love
fan.
how I make But Frank, I love how I make a video on whatever Saturday or Friday or whenever the hell it was about the Phillies are going to win the NL East and how I'm so optimistic. Then I'm an idiot because the team has no pitching, they have no lineup, this, that, and the other. The land is too good. Then I'm being overly optimistic, and I'm a crumb for that because my expectations are inflated. Then I crush the Sixers, and I'm a crumb. So I can't win either way. I love it. I love it. Feeds my fire. Keep posting I'm a crumb on social media. I love it. It feeds me. David Roscoe, what's up, boys? Ducks were really busy at the trade deadline. We're gonna get to that in just a few minutes. Dave Collins, coaching. He hates Brett Brown just like I do. Ain't no nudging with Brett. I've never agreed with you more, Rob. Parker, we got to get you on. I got to get Parker on my payroll, man. When everyone's that, Brad.
There you go.
There you go. Your fan card is back.
Your fan card.
76ers. Wait, now, is this valid for the other teams as well?
I'm just giving you to the Sixers.
Because Wilson thinks I'm a fucking crumb Eagles fan, too, because they had a horrible season last year and frustrated me to no end.
Yeah, I'll work on it over the break.
I kind of enjoyed their season last year.
Well, you would.
Yeah, I kind of enjoyed that.
Jimmy Butler was always right. He's finally on this team. Tom Arnoja, keep this energy when we were in the Eastern Conference Final. Hey, Tommy, if they're in the Eastern Conference Finals, I'll be ecstatic. I don't care about being wrong. There's 3 things I don't give a shit about when I step in the Real Talk studios. I don't care about being wrong. I don't care about being on an island all by myself. And there's 2 things. Elton is learning. Elton has a long leash. Elton is learning. That's from Mike Parker. Brett has been doing this for a long time. He's been a bad coach for a long time. I totally agree with Mike Parker there. They let Butler do some grocery shopping, no doubt. Yo, Al is a thief. He's like 4,500 on DraftKings making max money. That's a good comment. I saw Tom's video. I have a question. Is the same players on the court during away games? Is their home games? To use injuries as the main issue. To use injuries as your main issue, why this team is 500 out of the first round. And a quick side note, go Flyers, when the Sixers decide to start losing to get better, I will pass. I'm old school NBA. John, I couldn't quite follow that comment, but I mean, the team's never healthy. Why would I expect the team to be healthy down the stretch when they haven't been healthy for years? I don't get it.
We'll see.
Bob,
let me ask you a couple of questions regarding the NBA West.
Yes.
Is it going to be the Lakers? Who's the competition?
Yeah, the Lakers are real good.
Really, the
Clippers are real good.
The Clippers have not really been playing all that well lately.
Yeah, but they're still the 3 seed.
I know, but
see, the fascinating thing about the Western Conference, in my opinion,
they're not playing as well as they should be playing. How about Oklahoma City?
They're impressive. The only team that I legitimately see can be a fly in the ointment to an all-LA Western Conference Finals is the Denver Nuggets. They're pretty good. And if they get that 2 seed and get home court against the Clippers in the second round, they could get them because they're very good at home. That altitude presents problems for people. But, I mean, the Nuggets have had loaded teams before and fold up in the playoffs. So I got to see you win a big-time series for me to pick you. But the most fascinating thing about the Western Conference is if it's Lakers-Clippers in the Western Conference Finals,
all the games are at the Staples Center.
Each team has home court advantage.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But
I think that's an advantage for the Lakers because there's more
It is.
Laker
It's
fans.
a Lakers town. Let's not get twisted. Steve Ballmer's done a great job putting the Clippers on the map out there, but it's a Lakers town. But there's more to home court than just the fans. It's what I said before.
Well, they're used to the basket.
You sleep in your own bed.
They're used to the depth of
basket. You get your own locker room.
Yeah, and they're also they're used to the depth of the basket and everything. As opposed to the crowd and. They're just more comfortable. I get all that.
So, I mean, it's going to be I want to see an LA at Western Conference Finals. That's the best for the NBA.
That would be a lot of fun, but we'll see. I mean,
Elton Brand put this roster together, and we are pretty much stuck with what we have. Only change we can be as the coach. That's a great point by Bob, because you can't trade.
He's
Ben.
right. Well, you can't fire all the players, so you fire
can't-
the coach.
Yeah, but look, you're boxed in terms of the roster. You can't trade Ben. He's just too good and too promising. Nobody's taken Tobias Harris's awful contract, 5 years, 180.
Well, if
Al Horford's not going anywhere.
if you
making
trade
$28 million.
if you trade Tobias Harris, okay,
Who's going to take that money?
well, you're going to have to take a bad contract back.
But
I'm just saying, if you want a good player for him, you're going to have to take
Yeah, I
somebody
mean-
else's. You're going to have to take somebody else's problem, and that's
Tobias isn't the problem.
no, I know
Tobias,
he's not.
He
I'm-
just
I'm-
makes too much money.
Yeah,
but
that's just my
his
point.
skill set fits with Joe and Ben, which is why I'm not as because Al Horford, he's the thing that doesn't belong. He doesn't belong.
Yeah,
he doesn't
no, he's
fit
just
with
not-
the other
he's-
talent.
Yeah.
So, you're stuck. The only thing you're going to be able to add next offseason is a first-round pick, which is going to be, in the 20s
yeah.
or later, which he did good with Thibault last offseason. We had halftime yet. 55-43, 3 minutes left in the second quarter. Sixers taking care of business. Sixers taking care of business tonight. At home, Joe's playing
Yeah,
well. He looks engaged. They're
They've
making
dominated.
shots.
They've dominated the game.
55 points. I mean, that's what
Basically, they can go to the basket anytime they want, and Atlanta can't
But
do anything.
like I
about
said,
it.
the Hawks stink.
Well, yeah,
Frank, is my outlook supposed to change long term on this basketball team if they win the next 3
Well,
games against shitty teams?
Of course not. You got the Cavs on the road, which
They might lose. Honestly,
I mean, you
They're
can't.
not
I
gonna
mean, you
lose
can't
to
write it
Cleveland.
off. But I hope that they will get a win on
I've
this
seen
one.
them lose to bad teams.
I mean,
yeah, but
it's-
Cleveland-
it's
Cleveland
happened
is
before where the Sixers.
exceptionally
I mean,
bad.
the Sixers did lose to the Hawks, and
Yeah,
they lost to
that's
the
true.
Magic, which both aren't very good teams to begin with. But
Cleveland is really bad.
Cleveland is absolutely terrible. I think it's going to be a cakewalk. Then you got the Knicks.
They stink.
They
too.
stink. So that's
I mean,
gonna
they
be another
traded,
win.
They traded Morris, who was their best player.
Yeah.
So now they don't have a good.
But then they got a tough road ahead of them, which it's gonna be tough. I mean, I think the next 4 games after that. Let me pull up the Sixers schedule real quick.
no, because then they go out west.
Yeah,
for
they go
4
they go
games.
they go on a West Coast road trip.
They play LA,
Yeah.
Milwaukee's in there. Maybe it's
Yeah.
a 5-game trip.
They got
yeah.
they got the 2 LA teams and Milwaukee in
Yeah,
a row.
they
Wow.
got the
Trip.
Clippers on Sunday. They got the
Whoa.
Lakers next Tuesday. Then they got the Kings. I mean, that's another win right there. Then
Yeah,
you
but
got
you-
the Warriors.
Oh, I wouldn't guarantee them a win against
yeah, the next
Kings.
4 is
No, because Brad, that's the beauty
I
of the
wouldn't
Sixers.
guarantee-
They're gonna
I wouldn't
beat. They're
guarantee
gonna
that.
beat the Lakers. Here's what's gonna happen. I'll tell
Yeah.
you right now.
I can
They're
see
gonna
them
beat
one
the
of
Lakers,
LA
then they're
teams
gonna
and
go
then
lose to the Kings.
yeah, pretty much.
That's what's
I wouldn't
gonna
be
happen.
surprised if that happened.
So
Yeah, no, I wouldn't be surprised either because that's what they've been doing all season.
you got problems against the Lakers without Ben because
Yeah.
Ben locked up LeBron when they played him last time at the
Yeah,
Wells
but
Fargo
they just
Center.
at this point they just again the problem is Embiid would get and Anthony Davis are going to even each other out, and if there's no Ben, I mean you don't have an answer for LeBron. That's
Yeah.
the problem.
LeBron
LeBron.
James.
LeBron James.
My part of the West is too top heavy. It used to be deep. Yeah, I mean, wait till next year though, because you're gonna have 7 legitimate teams in the East next year when
Yeah.
the Nets get Kyrie and Durant cooking.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
So it's starting to
Yeah.
shift, and I know the Warriors are going to be way better next year too. So that's
course.
going to put
Well, I've heard that Steph is coming back
Steph's
next
coming
week,
back March 1st.
which means the Warriors will not have the worst record in the NBA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, look, whatever. They're buried. They're not going to do anything. But I
They-
give them
yeah.
credit. I give them credit for not sitting Steph out
Oh
the
yeah.
entire
Well, I give
year.
Steph credit for wanting to play.
That's correct. Too.
I mean,
Problem is
a
they're
lot of
gonna-
these guys.
The problem is they have Wiggins now, which is a great fit with Clay and
Yep.
Steph, and they have Draymond still, and they're probably going to get a top 3 pick.
Yeah, most likely.
And if they get Wiseman, holy smokes!
Yeah, Wiseman projected top 5 pick and
He's
in a
the
very underwhelming.
Frank, I watch a lot of college basketball, and I know a lot about college, probably
Yeah.
more than any of the other
Yeah.
sports put
I know.
together.
I know you're a huge basketball
And
junkie. yeah.
James Wiseman is the truth.
I really like James Wiseman. It sucks
He's-
that he's not playing
It's
It all-
James Wiseman
and everybody
then
else. Yeah.
he's in a tier to his
Yeah,
own.
at this point,
If you
this
pass
draft
on
class.
James Wiseman, you're an idiot.
Yeah,
You're gonna get fired.
The draft class this year is just Wiseman and everybody else. There's nothing too impressive about this draft class.
Hey, got a question for you, Rob.
yeah,
Pelicans are only 4 games out.
I love the Pelicans. I love them.
Can they?
Yeah, they're gonna
can
get the
they
8 seed.
catch Memphis?
Yes,
Because Memphis has a very tough schedule coming up, from what
Yes.
I've heard,
they can.
and from what I've heard, the Pelicans have a pretty easy schedule.
Well, I'd have to
the
look
rest
all
of the
that
season.
stuff up, but
No,
You
I
know.
did before. I did before I came.
okay.
I actually did my homework on that question. They could catch them,
I think they're going to. I wouldn't want
and
any
they would
parts
be.
in New
I'll
Orleans.
tell you what. I'll tell you
Wouldn't want
what.
Any parts. Look, they're going to play. They're probably going to. Lakers probably get the 1 seed in the West.
Yeah, but I guarantee you the Pelicans will win a game in that series.
I don't disagree with that. Oh, they might win 2. That's not going to
they'll
be an
win.
easy out.
Yeah, the Lakers are going to be.
That's like drawing a 4 seed, like
Yeah.
the 4th best team in the West.
Yeah,
in
Zion
the
has
first
been
round.
Zion has been
unbelievable.
outstanding.
Unbelievable he is. He's so explosive. He's Charles Barkley, but like way
Just
more
wait-
athletic and
wait-
way more explosive.
Wait till he starts to
He's
shoot
not even
better.
a man yet. He's still a boy.
Yeah, wait till he starts shooting better.
I don't think he's ever going to be a sniper.
But I bet you no, he won't be a sniper, but he can be reasonably good.
No, his calling card is that he is relentless and
And he's impossible to stop
Athletic.
when he goes to the basket.
he's
as well.
athletic. And he's a 280-pound load that can jump over the Real Talk studios into Tommy's neighbor's backyard.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's kind of like Shaq in a way,
But he's only 6'6".
but he's a moose. And he's going to still get bigger because
And,
he's
like,
still so young.
I don't necessarily know what position he can cover, but someone's got to cover him too on the other end of the floor.
Wow, power forward probably.
Brandon Ingram is awesome.
See, I'm looking at the way if the Lakers play the Pelicans,
Yeah,
all these ex-Lakers. I mean,
it's a great storyline.
it would be. I mean, if I'm the Lakers, I would
So
really.
you got all the Lakers
really
cast-offs
yeah,
that are
I really
playing the
wouldn't wanna
Lakers.
play them.
Nothing would make them happier than Lonzo
Oh,
Ball.
they will be so motivated. I mean, that could be a real chippy series.
You ain't kidding.
I mean, real chippy.
I won't miss a game of that series
Yeah,
if it comes to fruition.
I mean, you fans out there think that the Pelicans can sneak into the playoffs, and what kind of series y'all think it's going to be if they play each other? Because I think that would be fun.
Big time.
I would actually watch that series.
You don't even like the NBA.
No, but I would watch that series. That would be very interesting to watch that.
69-52.3. We'll call it halftime. 69-52. 76ers up. Putting up a 70 spot in the first half. I can't hate on that.
No,
I can't hate on that at all.
No, they're going to the basket, and Atlanta has no answer.
All right, and that's halftime. 69-52. Zion born in Salisbury. I guess is that where you live, Parker? I don't know what he's getting at there. But anyway.
He lives in Salisbury.
Okay.
Let's get in. Brad, why don't you run down the NHL trades for us?
Okay. Well, let's get to the big ones. Okay, and the one that affects our division the most, and that's the New York Islanders getting J.G. Pajot
From Ottawa.
from Ottawa for a first, a second, and a conditional third.
They paid.
They paid through the nose, but Pajot is the real deal.
But, I mean,
Pajot, now listen, he's not Ovechkin. He's not going to score you 40, 50 goals, but he's got, 25, 26, something like that. He's the kind of player that he's a real good defensive player. He's basically like Kevin Hayes, guys. If you want to compare the two players, he kills penalties. He can be on the power play. He can play on the fourth line.
You were wrong about Kevin Hayes.
He's not a seven, but he's not a $7 million
Oh, he's been worth
player.
every penny for this team.
That contract is going to be an albatross contract, though, at some point.
Yeah, but you know me. I'm knee-jerk Brinkman. I only care about right now. And right now, the Flyers are cooking.
They certainly are. They're looking good.
All right, I'm sorry.
But
run down the trades.
Pajot is an impact player. Combined with Andy Green, the Islanders are going to be a force to be reckoned with now. I mean, they've been kind of playing poorly for about the last month. But you know what? That's gonna kick them into high gear. Next game, by the way, for them is against the Rangers, which is really going to be an interesting
Well, there's
game.
only one game on the docket tonight that I saw. It was
Yeah,
Columbus
the
and Ottawa.
Senators. Yeah. By the way, is Columbus doing us a favor and losing, or is Ottawa just too pathetic to put up a battle? 'Cause Ottawa absolutely stinks.
I don't know. I don't have the score.
By the way, the Flyers also got Nathan Noel for TJ Brennan. I don't know much about Nathan Noel. I think he's a young player. Let's see. I'm just looking to see Nick Cousins, if you remember him. He was traded from Montreal to Vancouver. No, I'm sorry, to the Vegas Golden Knights. Barclay Goodrow, a goon from the. I love when I call people goons. A goon for the San Jose Sharks has been traded for Anthony Greco, and the Sharks get a first-round pick out of that deal. And Tampa Bay gets a third-round pick. What does Tampa Bay need with Barclay Goodrow? Do they need somebody to just, go out there and get beat up all the time?
I don't know. I guess.
Listen,
Tampa-
Barclay Goodrow,
Tampa-
Barclay Goodrow is one of these guys.
Yeah, but Tampa's loaded, Brad. They really didn't have to do a damn thing to be one of the favorites in the East.
I guess they want somebody who's going to protect.
They're in that cake division, so
Yes, they
they're
are.
going to make the top three of
They
that
are.
division easy.
They are, but I mean, they don't. I mean, it's bizarre because they get a guy who drops the gloves, but he always gets beat up. I mean, I can't remember Barclay Goodrow ever winning a fight, but he's always dropping his gloves. So,
Well,
I guess
sometimes-
they needed I guess they want a guy whose fights do spark the crowd and they do
Yeah.
spark the team. So I guess
Yeah,
that's
they bang their sticks and they get
Yeah.
cranked up.
yeah, and I think he is a high
Sometimes
energy
it's not
player.
about winning the fight; it's that you go out there and drop the
Yeah,
gloves.
no, I understand that. I understand
You
that.
can't
I
be
guess
scared to get beat up if you're a fighter. Because if you go into enough fights, you're going to get beat up.
well, he usually does get beat up.
Okay.
That's the only
Missing
thing.
the
But
point.
it's an interesting trade. The Rangers making an interesting trade, trading Brady Shea for a first-round pick. I'm going to tell you something about Brady Shea, and I'm a Ranger fan, as you guys all know. Brady Shea was a real good defenseman until 2018. 2018, he signed a 5-year, $31 million contract. And after that, he decided he's not going to hit anybody. He's not going to skate. He's not going to go into the corner
He
anymore.
got paid and lost
Yeah.
his edge. We see it all the time.
Yeah.
Ilya Bryzgalov
this year-
comes to mind for the Flyers.
This year, beginning of the season, he played pretty well with his buddy Jacob Trouba because those two apparently grew up together and they were buds when they, at a very young age. They played on the same junior team and the whole shebang. But then Brady Shea went back to being his usual typical self, making $5.2 million a year. The Rangers were actually able to trade him to Carolina, get a first-round pick, and Carolina picked up the whole contract. The Rangers also went and re-signed Chris Kreider, 7 years at 6.8
that makes you happy.
AAV.
That's your boy.
I'm thrilled that they got him back. I think every Ranger fan that you can ever meet is going to be happy about that because Chris Kreider is the kind of guy, and I've been saying it all along. He's a perfect player. I mean, he's not a superstar, but he's nasty. He's the kind of guy. He's a Brad Ryer type of player. Okay, he's nasty. Okay, he's got an edge to him. He'll drop the gloves. He'll score goals. He'll stand in front of the net. He'll talk to the goalie. He's got a big mouth. He'll talk to the other team because he's got a big mouth. And he's a terrific team player, and he also scores big goals. The only deficiency he had the Kevin Hayes disease with the Rangers every once in a while, is that he'll disappear for like 2-3 weeks on end. And then all of a sudden he
we
gets
haven't
hot.
seen that with Kevin Hayes here in Philadelphia.
No, you haven't. Not yet. First year there, though. But, Kevin Hayes.
I will deal with
I
that.
think Kevin Hayes just needed a change of scenery. And I think Brady Shea needed a change of scenery, too.
Sometimes that's what guys need.
Yeah, I think that might be it. Rangers are so loaded defensively in the farm system, they won't miss him at all.
Mike Parker asks, who's your favorite goon of all time in the NHL?
My favorite goon of all time?
Yeah. Like a tough guy, fighter.
Oh, boy. Honestly, Clark Gillies. And he was an Islander.
When
but
did he play?
in the 70s and 80s. He was tough. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. This Ryan Reeves, I love watching him.
Yeah, you're always posting about.
He is. Oh,
Ryan
listen,
Reeves.
guys, if you follow me on Facebook, anytime there's a really good fight, I will. I go right to hockeyfights.com and get it and put it on for you guys. So hope you guys enjoy that. Right now, I think Ryan Reeves is the best fighter. George LaRock was pretty darn good. There used to be this guy, George Paros, that used to play for the Canadians.
Yeah, George Paris.
One of the
He's now the Players Association president, George
yeah,
Paris.
He was brutal.
Oh yeah.
I can remember he got into a fight with Colton Orr, who was really tough, a real tough.
One of the greatest stashes of the game, George Paris.
Yeah, boy. But he just pummeled. Colton Orr was tough.
Oh yeah.
Probably the best fighter I think I can remember is probably Probert. I mean, he lost a few.
Yeah.
I mean, I know he fought Koser a couple of times. He lost a fight to Koser because Koser connected with that right hand, and when Koser used to connect with that right hand, he put you away. But consistently, fight for fight, I think he was probably best of all time. Schultz was pretty good too. He was left-handed though, and so a lot of guys didn't know what was coming when they fought him. But once everybody kind of figured out that he was left-handed. And it got around the league, he started getting into fights with guys that knew it, and like a guy like Larry Robinson, for example, Terry O'Reilly, who was also left-handed. They had some good fights. I know Schultz beat him up in the playoffs, but O'Reilly took care of him a couple of times too. But of all the guys, I guess Probert.
Okay, fair. Frank, let's take our break.
Alrighty.
Let's take our break. We're coming back on the other side. We got more hockey talk. We're going to reassess things in terms of the Eastern Conference and the Metro Division. We got some spring training talk, and we got NFL, CBA, draft talk. We'll go around the NFL. Sports Hounds, A2D Radio. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to the Real Talk Studios. Fired up today. I drank about 7 cups of coffee today. I drank one of them new Coke energy things from the Super Bowl commercials.
Are they good?
I mean,
They're okay.
it's better than Red Bull
Yeah.
or
Okay.
Monster or one of them, which I'm not just, I know.
Okay.
I'm going to be a crumb for that too now because Tommy, if you cut Tom open with a knife, Monster Energy would come pouring out.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
I'll be a crumb
All
for
right.
that.
Let's
now, too.
finish. Let's finish up.
Go
with
ahead,
the,
Brad. Yes.
Let's finish up with the
Look at
trades,
Brad
and I'm only
taking
going to give you.
initiative, locking me in.
I'm only going to give you the trades that.
Let's talk
people
about the
have actually
Flyers.
heard
Let's
of.
talk about the Flyers and the Metro.
we're-
That's the best one.
The only one I want to mention that from the West that actually is interesting is Leonard going to Vegas and Malcolm Subban going to the Blackhawks. That's
well,
about
Leonard's
the
a
only
good player.
Yeah, I know. Well, he won the Vezina last year. Here's one that interests me. Sammy Vatanen goes from the Devils to the Canes. Sammy Vatanen's hurt. So I mean, I haven't heard any kind of a
Now,
timetable with him.
let me ask you this because I saw this on Twitter and I'm not sure if it was a real Twitter account or one of these Chrome burner accounts that the Washington Capitals traded for Ilya Kovalchuk,
Yes, they did.
who was still under contract with the Canadians, I think it was.
He got traded to the that was legit.
Okay.
Big deal.
Is he going to play?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
he's gonna
you're the hockey guy here.
He's been
but
okay.
I remember
okay,
playing
but-
NHL like 2014 on Xbox, and Ilya Kovalchuk was unstoppable.
Yeah.
He was on the Atlanta Thrashers.
Yeah, he's like 97
And he
years
was a
old
stud.
now. He's like 97
But
years
like,
old
can he
now.
come? Is he gonna come in and like try and
Well,
play?
he's been playing. He's been playing with Montreal.
He's on the Canadians.
Yeah, I think he had
I
like.
thought he played in the KHL.
Well, he came back. He came back
When
last
did he come
year.
back?
Last year.
Okay.
So yeah,
I
he
missed
was
that.
on. He was on Los Angeles. Los Angeles traded him to Montreal. He's played okay for the Canadians. I think he's got like 11 goals and 11 assists in 39 games, something like that. I mean, he's been okay. I mean,
Now-
I think that playing with Ovechkin will probably light the light a little bit for him.
Yeah.
I think
Russian connection.
yeah. I mean, I think that'll
You
definitely
know, reignite
put-
him, kind of.
Yeah, I think they're looking for lightning in a bottle with that. That's not a bad gamble.
Now, are they going to sign Vladimir Putin and have like the Russian
Oh,
destruction
boy.
communist line?
I think maybe Vladimir Putin had something to do with the Rangers accident last night.
Yeah.
The two Russians got into an accident in Brooklyn. Buchnevich and Shesterkin.
The deep
Somebody
state.
made a illegal U-turn and Shesterkin
Mhm.
crashed into him.
Mhm.
Has a broken rib.
Deep state
He's gonna miss.
collusion.
He's gonna miss a month.
Deep state fake news. Deep state conspiracy?
Don't know. But here's one for you. Now the Penguins. This is an interesting one. The Penguins pick up Connor Sheary again, and Evan Rodriguez from Buffalo. Now Evan Rodriguez is he's a grinder. Sheary was a pretty good player for them, but again, another old player. That's going to help the Penguins.
They get Marlowe too, which I know he's old, but at least
I think Marlowe had like 10 goals and 10 assists this year.
So he's fallen off.
Yeah, and he's also
that's what we were going.
He's 40 years old. I mean,
we talked about the Sharks 3 years ago on WNJC about their win.
The guy has like 560 lifetime goals. I mean, he's an all-time great player, but I mean, he's 40 years old. He has 10 goals this season and 10 assists. I believe those are his numbers. So I mean, there's not much there with them. Now, the Flyer move, Derek Grant. I like it. I think that's a good move. Derek Grant is having a career year this year. He's got 14 goals. I mean, that's not bad because he's never done that before. He's always been.
I feel like the whole Flyers team has 14 goals. There's such a balanced attack.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He's the kind of guy you obviously, if he has 14 goals, you can put him on the second line, you can put him on the third line, you can put him on the first line. That there's a guy that's a top 9 player that can play anywhere he wants.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good move. And I
Nate
think he's
Thompson.
Fit in. Nate Thompson is another one.
I understand he's not the best player. He's probably going to be the fourth line center.
Yeah, he's a tough player. He goes in the corners. He's pretty good. He's pretty good winning faceoffs. I mean, I think that was a good move for him. For them, the only trade I really don't know a lot about, guys. Nathan Noel, I don't really know anything about him, and I don't know anything about.
Is that a Flyer move? I must have missed the
Flyers picked up
Flyer
Nathan Noel for T.J. Brennan. I don't know much about T.J. Brennan either. So Nathan Noel, let's see. I mean, he's from the Blackhawks. I don't know much about him, but let's see what his he's considered an elite prospect, so that's not a bad thing. Born in 1997, so he's 22 years old. So you got a kid here who, let's see, he's a hard-working offensive forward that seems to complement his line mates, whoever they may be, has good hockey sense and creativity.
You sold me. Okay. Hard-working, offensive. I'm in. Great trade.
So that's
couldn't tell you a damn thing about him other than the scouting report you just read.
Okay. This year he's been in the ECHL. He has in 39 games. He has 6 goals, 11 assists for 17 points, and he has 47 penalty minutes. So guess what? You guys got yourself a tough guy who can put the puck in the net once in a while.
Now, I'm in on this Flyers team. I look forward to each and every game. Let me see. I think they play tomorrow. Hold on. Let me bring up the schedule here.
I think the entire league plays tomorrow. By the way, Senators and Blue Jackets tied at 2 in the second period. Good job, Ottawa.
NHL.
Flyers are playing at home against the Sharks tomorrow night.
They're not
the Sharks.
A game you can win.
That's that should be an easy one for the Flyers.
Well, let's not get carried away. Let's
the Sharks are just not good anymore.
Show up for the game, but I mean.
Oh, they have to show up, of course. But I mean, the Sharks are just not good anymore.
I mean, a team that really has my eye in the Metro is your Rangers.
Yeah,
they're
the Rangers
are 4 points out of a playoff spot.
Yeah, they're 9 games over 500.
I don't buy Columbus at all. I think Columbus stinks. I think they played over their head. I think they're.
To be fair,
it's 2-2 in the second with the Senators. And
to be fair, though, Columbus lost their best player, Seth Jones.
I get it.
I mean, that's a big loss.
But they have 12 bullshit points because they have 12 overtime losses.
Well, see, my problem with the NHL is that how can a team that is 5 games over 500, if you count overtime losses as losses, okay? The Rangers are 5 games over 500, and the Blue Jackets are 3 games under 500, and the Rangers aren't in the playoffs, and the Blue Jackets are in the same division. Now, how the hell can Gary Bettman please explain to me how the hell that can happen? Because that is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. I mean, that goes beyond stupid.
Well, Columbus isn't even in the playoffs anymore.
Weren't they tied with Carolina? in points?
Yes, they are.
Yeah, they both have 74, and the Rangers have 70. Florida has 70, and I think the
Yeah, but
Islanders
they're a
have
minus
75.
one in goal. I think when I'm looking at standings and I look at teams that can potentially make a run, I always look at goal differential.
Oh,
or
that's
run differential
you
in
should
baseball.
you should look at that. 'Cause
That's
that tells you all you need to
sheer
know.
indication of how if a team's had
If you're-
bad luck or good luck or if their luck's going to change.
If you're over 500, okay, you should have. If you're say 10 goal games over 500, okay, you should have be at least a plus 10. Okay, I know
Like,
the
look,
Rangers.
The Flyers at 35 and 20. They're plus 23 in the goal differential.
Okay, that's what they
That
should
tells
be.
me they're not going anywhere. They're not going to fall off, and they're going to stay
No,
right there in
exactly.
the playoffs.
The Rangers
Maybe they can
are
even
9 games over 500, and they are, I believe, a plus 15, right?
That's correct. I have it
Okay.
right here.
Okay, so
I mean, the Jackets are minus one.
right. No, I know that.
So I look at
I know
that,
that.
and that's a team that I see that's
And,
going to
and Elvis
take a dump.
Maracolinis, or whatever, however you pronounce his last name, just call him Elvis. He's starting to show some holes.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I mean, I think the Rangers can definitely catch Columbus, and I think they can catch Carolina. I don't think the
And then-
Rangers are going to be negatively affected by losing Brady
You look
Shea.
but you look at Florida, they're only a plus 5. Like
Well, Florida has not been very good in the last
now,
month.
am I crazy to think that the Flyers can do something nuts and win this Metro division?
No, you're not crazy at all about that.
I've seen him beat the Capitals in Washington 7-2. I saw him sweep a home and home for Columbus. Second game on the road, which they were down 3-1 and won the game. I saw him destroy the Winnipeg Jets on Saturday. Like, this team is moving. And tomorrow, I expect 2 points from tomorrow as well.
The Rangers beat all those teams too.
The Rangers are
The Rangers just
the
finished
Flyers
the road
and the
trip.
Rangers are the 2 teams to watch in the Metro.
Right now,
I think they're
the two
both going to
hottest-
make the playoffs.
They're the 2 hottest teams in the Metro, to be sure.
The thing is the Islanders. The Islanders got a lot better today.
Yes, they did. I mean,
So-
I thought getting Green from the Devils was a good move. I mean, I know he's old, but you know what? He's one of those old school tough defensemen that play defense. Doesn't really get involved much in offense. He's a hitter. He does old time hockey things like throw hip checks and that's the kind of player he is. And he was the captain for the Devils. He's a terrific leader. And then they get Pajot. Pajot is a real good player. And by the way, they also signed Pajot to a 6-year extension. So I mean, they gave up a lot to
locking
get
up.
him. Yeah,
What's their GM's name? The good GM?
Lamoriello.
Yeah, Lamoriello.
Lamoriello is one of the best in the business. So I hate to spring it up because I hate the Islanders. I hate them with a passion.
You do hate the Islanders.
I hate the Islanders, but Lamoriello is a brilliant general manager. I mean, he won 3 Stanley Cups with the Devils.
You got it.
He
if
got.
you say, I'll believe it.
He
in
did.
terms
No,
of
he won
hockey.
3 Stanley Cups with the Devils. He took the Leafs, who were an awful team, and he went and he drafted all those really good offensive players, Marner and Nylander and Austin Matthews. And then he left, and since he left, they've been
We
going
can't just
downhill.
shove the guy over. I mean, what the fuck? Sorry.
That's okay. Atlanta's got it down to 11. I understand. Now it's down to 8. Uh-oh. Better call timeout. Time to talk it over.
No, Brett Brown, he thinks you can roll him over. He thinks he can roll timeouts over from game to game, I think. He never uses his timeouts right.
They cut it down to 8.
He's such a bad coach.
I would, now they're hoisting
That's
from
a
long
terrible
range.
shot. Now
Why don't they
it's
call timeout?
5. Timeout, Brett. Timeout.
I think it's time to call
Call
a timeout.
a timeout. There you go.
He's going to call a timeout now.
There you go.
He.
So getting interesting down there at the Wells Fargo Center.
Well, as we've said, Rob, every game
It seems like a team that's as great as this fan base claims the Sixers to be should be able to sustain a double-digit lead against a bad team like the Hawks. But they're not doing it. They don't.
It's the NBA. Every team goes on a run. Now, if the Sixers come out of this timeout,
But guess what, Brad? It's every night in the third quarter. They're the worst third-quarter team I've ever seen.
but they're good in the fourth quarter, though.
Sometimes.
Yeah,
Sometimes
they're
not.
good against the Knicks and the Nets, but I mean, I guess everybody's good against them.
I don't know if this game's going to be – probably not. We about, 40 minutes left in the show? Something like that? I'm not good at math, especially on the fly. But the game won't be over. But, I mean –
Well, you would think that they'd win this game. I'd be shocked if they don't.
But, I don't know. All right, so Metro Division. After today, who is the favorite to win the Metro Division?
I gotta think with
Washington.
all the moves Pittsburgh made, I think maybe it might be Pittsburgh.
So
at
you're
this point.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I think so.
So who will be second?
Washington.
Third.
Flyers.
Okay, so you have right now it's Washington, Pittsburgh, Philadelphia. So you think it's going to be Pittsburgh, Washington, Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. I think it's imperative that the Flyers be in the top 3 of the Metro.
I agree with
and
that.
Then both wild card teams are going. So even though the Islanders came out swinging at the trade deadline, you still think the Flyers are better than the Islanders. You don't think the Flyers?
I thought the Islanders were better than the Flyers, but you know what? The more I watch the Flyers, I think when the Flyers are playing their best hockey, I think they're better than the Islanders. The only thing, as I said, I'm really curious to see what happens with Pajot and Green on the team for an extended period and how they fit in. That's scary, but I just I don't really like Varlamov as their goalie. I'm not sold.
The Flyers
on
have Carter Hart, who I
yeah,
think is
I'm
just
not. I am
absolutely
not.
terrific.
I'm not sold. Actually, I think Thomas Greiss is better than Varlamov, and Varlamov is their starting goalie. I'm not sold on him.
So and then the 2 wild card teams, which we're in agreement that 5 teams from the Metro are going to make.
Absolutely.
Make the playoffs.
I think.
New York.
It could be. I think it could be.
That's who I would.
I'd be more worried.
Carolina.
Carolina is really good, and that they're the team that could throw the.
And I look at
the
Carolina.
flying
You got a plus 29 differential on the goal.
Carolina's a good team, but Carolina's got some injuries in goal right now, and they have injuries on defense. I know they just picked up Brady Shea, but they also lost 2 good defensemen. So we'll see what happens there. I think the Rangers have a now they're saying it's a 32% chance. We'll see. I mean, the next 3 games are gonna tell a lot about the Rangers. They have a very difficult next 3 games. They're at Long Island tomorrow night, and then they have a home and home with the Flyers. So, they got to try to win 2 out of the next 3, and hope like crazy that the Islanders and between the Islanders, Columbus, and Carolina, that none of them go nuts and win all their games.
It's gonna be fun.
Yep. Well, listen, I'm happy as far as if you're a Ranger fan, you have to be delighted by the way this season's gone, because you know what?
Well, there was no expectations.
We had 0 expectations this year, and
I mean, just got nailed in the face. There's no M1 there. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I mean, how could we possibly not be thrilled about what's going on this season?
Oh, I agree. It's been great.
That it was unexpected. It was unexpected, and they're getting a lot. And the other thing is, because they played well, they were rewarded, and they get to keep Chris Kreider, and that to me is huge, because you can bring in as many young players as you want. You still have to have some veterans on the team, and you need some veteran leadership. And I think between Kreider, Zibanejad, and Panarin, I think they're well represented up front and defensively. You have Trouba. Adam Fox is probably the best rookie defenseman in the league this year. Lindgren's been really good. So, and they've got some guys coming up. Should be fun. I think the Rangers and the Flyers, honestly, the next 3-4 years are going to be the.
We got a big home and home. We got a big home and home next week.
Yes, we do. But I think in the next 3-4 years, I think the Rangers and Flyers are going to be the teams in the East, in the Metro, that are going to be battling for the top spots. I think both of them have a slew of good young players. I still think the Flyers are a little ahead of the Rangers. They're about a year ahead. So I said the Flyers this year, in my opinion, it's not a question of making the playoffs. They need to win a series. That's what they're looking to do. The Rangers this year
they get in.
Are looking
awesome.
if they can make the playoffs. that's a major victory. They're a year ahead of schedule because it was really expected that next year was the year they could make the playoffs and then try to win the Stanley Cup the following season. They're still not going to be a Stanley Cup contender next year because they have to re-sign all their restricted free agents. They have too much dead cap space to do that. But the following season, they're going to have $19 million off with Lundqvist, Stahl, and Smith off the books. And they also have, I think, $8 or $9 million this year in dead cap space. That's going to be for next year because you're going to have Shattenkirk and Dan Girardi still with dead cap space. So you're going to have those two on the books for the dead cap space. So you're still looking at about $8-9 million in dead cap space. But between those two, Rangers are going to have about close to $30 million.
You get some players with that.
Yeah, exactly. Plus they got all these good young players that are there. So other than paying Mika Zibanejad, the rest of it, they'll be able to go out and pick up some more free agents. So, they've got a chance, as I said. They think the future's bright with them. The rebuild's over, and it's now time to see what these guys got. So hopefully it'll be a lot, and we're looking forward to it.
84-77, Sixers lead the Hawks. 4 minutes to go in the third quarter. We'll keep you updated on that. But got to talk some baseball.
Okay.
It's exciting to watch live baseball.
It sure is.
Even though it's fake, it's spring training.
It's
great to see baseball being played.
The only problem I have is Garrett Cole is making his first appearance of the spring.
Yeah.
And it's not even on TV.
Well, the Flyers,
it's
the
hard
Flyers,
to
I'm all
believe.
Twisted up.
They're not on TV and they're not on the radio.
Well, the Phillies, they only have 10 spring training games on TV, which I don't understand how.
Go to all the weekend games?
I don't know. What
Must
they're
probably
doing. They have
be.
this TV network, the TV contract. They're supposed to get stupid money from, and none of the games are on TV. I don't understand. Put all the games on TV.
Yeah,
why do I have to watch American Ninja Warrior on channel 846? I don't care about American Ninja Warrior. I want to see baseball.
Yeah, why don't they put that is
American
a good question.
Ninja Warrior. I went through it. I went through the whole setting. I wrote it down somewhere, but I lost it. It was like sledding, snowboarding, and then American Ninja Warrior in the 3 hours that the Phillies were on against on Saturday. It was Saturday at 1:05. It was the spring debut. It was only on the radio.
I don't understand.
Brad,
that.
I got to get to your Yankees though, because we did a show not 7 days ago where we both agreed it was almost a foregone conclusion that the Yankees were going to win the American League. Now you get some chinks in the armor because Paxton's out. Not only is Paxton out, Luis Severino looks like he's going to need Tommy John and miss the season.
We don't know that. We don't know that yet.
Nothing about it sounds good.
No, but
he's
we
had
don't
pain throwing since the ALCS, and he's been shut down for the spring.
He has pain when he throws a changeup, which is bizarre. They've actually gone through and done tests, and they still haven't found anything. So they're doing more tests today.
That's even worse.
That's
even worse news.
Yeah, I know. Paxton, however, is supposed to be back by the beginning of May. So and Paxton's already throwing. So that's a question. He had a cyst removed from his back. So he'll be okay.
Okay. I hear back and surgery and
yeah, but it was a cyst. It's not like a tumor or he had something wrong with his spine or something along those lines.
Cysts are a pain in the butt.
Yeah, but what I don't understand is
I'm prone to polyabdominal.
What I don't understand though is if he had a cyst, why did he wait till?
I asked myself it's like when Chase Utley always came back, and his knees were hurting in spring training, and he's because he took too much of a break in the off season. If you know your knees are going to seize up and you're not going to be ready, why don't you work out?
Or do something. If just like Severino, if your elbow is barking or whatever it is, his forearm is barking when he threw a
I feel like that
changeup.
happens more so in baseball than any other sport.
Why didn't you say something? Why do you wait till spring training to make it to talk about it? I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense to me.
I don't get it. But, that's too big. You're lucky you have Cole because he's a beast.
Yeah, well, they still have him.
There's be a lot of pressure on him in the
Tanaka.
first part of the season.
They have Tanaka.
I love Masahiro Tanaka. I'm a big fan of his.
And they also,
I think he's just a
but
bulldog.
They still, I think J Happ is going to be okay this year. It looks like
he's
got
fine, but I mean, if he's starting a playoff game or something like that, I'd be a little nervous. But
well,
every fifth day, it's fine.
But that's in October. I mean, he's not going to be doing that. He's not. You would think that by then, hopefully Severino will be back by then, and hopefully Paxton will be okay. I would imagine Paxton will be fine.
Sixers blew it back up. They're up 8
12.
now. No,
that's 8. I'm sorry.
87-79. I'm not good at math. I got that one, though.
Yeah.
They're up 9.
Well, now
they're up 7. That's all right. They're probably going to win this game, but, I mean.
Oh, they'll win the game.
Hammer down.
They'll win the game. Listen, the fourth
they just
quarter.
win by 20? I want one game where they just win by 20.
They probably will.
One game. I'm talking about a stress-free, whistle to whistle.
Well, but I mean, you had to figure that Atlanta would make a run and make it interesting for a little bit in the second half. I mean, these guys get paid to play too, so that was a travel, boy. I'll tell you.
Traveling's not a rule. Traveling's not a rule
Since
anymore.
since when are you allowed to catch the ball and take 3 steps?
See LeBron? You ever see LeBron play? He runs down the whole court like LaDainian Tomlinson and stiff arms people out of the way, does spin moves and lays it in, and it's 2 points. It's a joke.
That was
that's
travel
a great
too.
take. Is that John Collins? I mean,
how many steps was that?
That's an M1 too.
How is that not traveling? That was like 4 or 5 steps.
I don't understand how the Hawks are this bad. Like, they're not hopeless.
Well, they're only down.
Trae Young, you have John Collins.
Now it's down to 5.
This is going to be a dogfight. Sixers are in a dogfight. This is where you need Joe to step up and prove me wrong.
Now he's got the ball and he's getting double teamed.
Well,
okay,
obviously
now
he's going to get a lot of
now
that.
He needs to go to the basket. That's exactly what he did. He was fouled, but they didn't call it. But they got the basket anyway.
That's like, look, without Ben in the lineup, Joe's going to.
Well, yeah,
Joe's going to get double teamed all the time.
He's 7 feet tall. Go to the basket. He's going to get fouled 90% of the time. I mean, nobody on the Hawks can stop him if he wants to go to the basket.
I agree with you. He got fouled there and it didn't get called.
Yeah, I mean.
And then I like that Burks is in. Burks is is that number 20? That's Burks, right?
Watch him. He's getting mugged there. He just got mugged, and they didn't call it. And then he tipped it back in.
That's poor fundamental defense by the Hawks. You can't just give him baseline like that.
Yeah, but I mean,
at least force him to help.
But he got mugged.
I hear you.
Unbelievable.
But you know what I'm saying? Tighten it up a little bit. Fourth quarter's about to start. This is where I need my horse to go get me one.
Well,
I need him to put all doubt out of the main. Like Bruno Fernando's coming in to cover a rookie out of Maryland coming in to cover Joe. Joe should be licking his chops. He should be posted up 5 feet away from the basket every freaking possession, and he should be going to work.
Yeah, but there's only 44 seconds to go in the third quarter.
I'm talking about as the game progresses.
Right. But Joe's going to need a break too.
I know, but you need a quick shot here so you can work a 2-for-1. Embiid. See, that's a bad shot. You gotta give it. He's streaking to the hoop on the roll. He set a great pick.
Now it's down to 3.
And then they force a bad shot, and no one stops ball, and DeAndre Hunter gets a 3-point play the old-fashioned way. These are the things that I see in the Sixers that I feel like people don't pick up on.
Yeah, it's
like what kind of come on, stop ball. Like you don't need Ben Simmons in the lineup to stop the basketball.
Oh, now it's down to
2. 27 seconds left. You're not going to be able to work a 2-for-1 because there's only 3-second differential.
Nah, they need to take their time, make sure they get a good shot.
You need to run a good set here. Let's see what they do with this set.
Get Embiid the ball.
Let's see what they
in
do
the
with
low
this set.
post.
I'm sure Joe's going to come set a screen.
Yep, that's exactly what he did.
A lazy screen that accomplishes nothing.
He got the ball inside.
Collapse down, get it to the corner. I mean, you're boxed in at that point. I mean,
and that's
whatever.
That was a 24-second violation.
Whatever. Yeah, I mean, an air ball. I mean, whatever. I'm not gonna crush him for that.
No, Atlanta played
was
good
okay.
defense. They played good defense in that particular series.
But he did good. He see how he posted up 5 feet away. I mean, they got him the ball a little late.
Yeah,
and
but
then
they
the
had
guy
like 2 or
reached
3
in and
guys.
swiped it.
Yeah,
That's what's going to happen with this team.
Oh boy,
Jesus,
tied.
God.
Oh,
They
it's
are
3. They're ahead.
losing. Sixers are now losing at the end of 3. He's something else, man. Number 11 there, Trae Young. He's something else.
Well,
Let's get back to baseball. So you as a Yankees fan, you're not concerned at all that your pitchers are dropping like flies.
no, because I know I'm going to get Paxton back. I don't know about Severino, but you know what? I know that we have enough arms in our system that we'll be fine. And you know, if things don't work out, if things don't work out with the depth that we have, we'll go out and we'll add pitching. I mean, it doesn't have to be. See, the difference between this year and last year was for the Yankees to improve last year, they needed to get an ace. Okay, and there wasn't any out there that was available, and there wasn't anybody really worthwhile to go get. This is the year. See, this year they're in a position where, like, if a guy like Robbie Ray is available, and I'm just using him because he was available last year. Okay, an example. Okay, this year, since we have Cole now, a guy like Robbie Ray would be a perfect addition for the Yankees because they don't need an ace anymore. They don't need a number 2. They just need a guy who can go out there, give you innings and keep you in the game. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's the key for the Yankees. The Yankees just need to not get bombed. As long as the starter doesn't get bombed and can keep them in the game, your offense can just take over
and they have a great
an
bullpen.
inning. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and
you just got to
and their bullpen is very good.
hold the other team down good enough so that the offense can do its thing and put up a crooked number in one inning.
Which
the Yankees lineup
inevitably do.
The Yankees lineup is probably going to score 5 runs a night just for lacing up the spikes.
Well,
it's that good.
They're thinking that Andujar might end up being the left fielder this year.
What?
Yeah, Andujar's playing left field.
When you say they, who's they? Because that's the most absurd thing I've ever heard. He's not even good at third base. His primary.
Well,
division.
yeah, that's why they're trying him in left.
But if he's not good at third base, how's he going to be good at left field? A position he probably hasn't played since Little League.
Don't know.
He needs to be first base or DH.
Well, they're trying him at first base as well. So, but I mean, they like Luke Voigt, so they really don't want to. They don't.
There's a lot to like. There's a lot to like with Luke Voigt.
Yeah, exactly. So what they're looking at is they're going to try to get Andujar ready and to play the outfield and bring in Tauchman for defense late in the games. Although Tauchman is a good hitter. I mean, the Yankees are so loaded. This is what I'm saying, Rob. As far as the Yankees are concerned, if there's any issues with the pitching, they have so much depth. They can go out and they can really pick up. They can go out and make a move at the deadline if needed. I just don't see Tampa Bay matching up with them. They don't have as good a lineup. They don't have as good a bullpen, and they don't have. Their starting pitching might be better than the Yankees. You can make that argument, but the Yankees' starting pitching is pretty good. And Cole is better than anything that they have right now.
Oh, I'm not worried about the Yankees.
Yeah,
in
I
terms
wouldn't
of, like,
worry.
The division.
Yeah,
Or
I mean,
anything
but
like
by the
that.
time,
even though Tampa's good,
but by the time the playoffs roll around, I mean, you're talking about October. The injuries that the Yankees have right now, we don't know what the deal is with Severino.
you hit how many home runs last year?
309.
And Stanton.
Minnesota hit one more than them.
I know, but my point is
Stanton didn't
even play. He's a 50 home run season waiting to happen. He had 60 home runs in a season once, didn't he?
No, 59.
59.
Yeah. Well, Gleyber Torres hit 38 last year.
Stud.
Yeah.
So he's going to play short this year, right?
He's going to play short.
Is he capable of? Didi's pretty good shortstop.
He played.
About defense. Talking about defense.
Well, Gleyber played. Gleyber's not as good defensively as Didi. I mean, I can't sit there and look at you in the face with a straight face.
I'm
and
just
tell
asking.
You that. No.
I just see 30. I don't watch the Yankees all the time.
He's not as good a defensive player as Didi. Didi is really good defensively. But Gleyber has a strong arm, and he's a pretty good shortstop. I mean, is he the best shortstop in the league defensively? No. But he's only 22 years old. I mean, I'm not worried about him defensively at all. DJ LeMahieu is a Gold Glove level second baseman, so that would help. And if Urshela is going to play third, you're really not going to have a problem with the infield.
Now,
Voit is not great, but he's
this
okay.
is where look, Gio Urshela was one of the best stories in baseball last year. He hit over 300.
He hit 315.
He hit 315.
21 home runs and
Almost
like 80 RBIs.
knocking on the door of a batting title. Like, can you expect that from him again? Can he? Isn't the only way Gio Urshela can go, but down?
How do you know that he hasn't just broken out and has figured it out?
I don't know anything about Gio Urshela.
He had a new stance last year. They changed his swing. So I mean, they really worked with him. So maybe he has.
So if you had to project his batting average this year, what would it be?
280, 290.
Which is
yeah.
down.
I can't sit and say, oh, he's going to hit 315 again. I mean, that's not, you can't count on that. But I also can count on the fact that I'm expecting Stanton as the DH to hit 35 to 40 home runs minimum.
Is that who's going to DH, Stanton?
Stanton's going to be the DH.
Okay, so you're Aaron Boone. It's opening day.
My ideal lineup.
You like fill out the lineup card.
Okay, what
So
I would want to
start with the leadoff guy,
Okay.
player, position, on down the list.
Okay, Gardner leading off, Judge batting second.
Okay, where's Gardner playing?
Center?
Center.
Judge would bat second.
Right.
In right. Gleyber Torres would bat third.
At short.
At short. Fourth would be Stanton.
DH?
Yeah, at DH.
Or left? DH?
DH. Fifth would be Andahar. Sixth would be Sanchez.
Andahar where? Third?
No, left field.
Left field.
Yeah.
So Aaron Hicks is nowhere near your.
Aaron Hicks is injured. He's out until July.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
we can't.
You better cross him off the old fantasy baseball rankings then.
Yeah, no. He's not. He's out till July. He had the Tommy John surgery.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Gary Sanchez sixth.
Catching,
okay.
obviously.
Catcher. Voit seventh.
First.
Urshela eighth. And I'm forgetting somebody. Who?
LeMahieu.
LeMahieu has to bat first. So Gardner would bat eighth and Urshela would bat ninth.
Okay.
Forgot about LeMahieu. LeMahieu has to lead off.
And he's going to second.
Yeah, second. LeMahieu leads off.
He's a good player.
Yeah,
he was always good for Colorado, and I thought that was a real sneaky signing.
Yeah, last year he hit three. What did he hit last year? 330.
He won the batting title. I think he hit 337.
I mean that was incredible. And he had 27
Nobody does
home
that
runs.
these days.
No, he was unbelievable last year.
I couldn't believe he wasn't a top 3 MVP candidate. He was better than Semien last year.
I thought
All
so.
due respect to Semien, who had a great season.
I know the Yankees get a lot of hate when it comes to people voting for MVP and that.
So
kind
what's
of thing.
it like? What's it going to be like this year? Because the Yankees are not the villain anymore. The Astros are the villain.
Yeah, should be interesting.
I can't believe those jabrones last night. I mean, Sweep's the only one with a good head on his shoulder. He gave the crumb of the week to Manfred. It should have been unanimous. I can't believe I'm the crumb of the week over Rob Manfred. For him to be so out of touch and call the World Series trophy a piece of metal.
Oh, he's an
Things
idiot.
guys would.
His brain is a
guys
piece.
work their whole lives to even get a chance to even be in the playoffs.
His
to
brain
compete
is
for that trophy.
His brain is a piece of metal.
This guy, every time he opens his mouth, he digs his hole deeper and deeper.
Yeah, he's
horrible.
Yeah, he's not a baseball
And
guy.
he's stupid ideas with the playoffs.
Trying to ruin baseball with the playoffs and the stupidity with the 3 batter minimum rule. I mean, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Look,
how about putting a goddamn stopwatch on the pitchers?
But
make them pitch every 30 seconds. If you really want to speed up the game, that's what you do.
But how many more? What do you think? Everyone's just going to have baseball as their favorite sport if the game is 3 hours and 30 minutes instead of 3 hours and 45 minutes?
Yeah, that's their thinking.
That's ridiculous.
Well,
baseball's becoming like golf in the sense that it's a niche interest. It's a niche sport. Either you really like golf and you're going to watch it on TV and spend your free time playing it, or you're not. And golf understands that, and golf knows that.
Yeah.
That's what baseball is, because you're not having guys beat their brains in from a physical standpoint. It's a finesse game. It's a mental game. It's like a endurance game, right? You don't have guys jumping out of the gym like you do in the NBA.
No.
And, hockey is kind of like a niche interest as well.
Yeah, hockey is very regional.
Correct. Baseball is too. But, you can play into that and do things. Because speeding up the game by 10, 15 minutes is not going to make little kids like it, not going to boost viewership.
If little kids,
if you like baseball, you like baseball, and you're going to watch it. If you don't like baseball and you think it's boring, you're not going to.
The only issue that I have with baseball when it's too slow is when you're at the game, you'd like to see them move things along a little quicker. But you know what? If they're going to move things a little quicker, how about between innings, it not taking so long to get out there and play? Or again, you could always put a stopwatch between pitches. Make them pitch every 20 seconds.
Yeah, but they have that, and they don't really enforce it.
But they never enforce it.
What's the point of having it if you're not enforcing it?
I don't know. I mean, that's the whole thing. I mean, these guys go a minute to a minute and 10 seconds to a minute 20 seconds between pitches. I mean, that's why it takes so long. I mean, you could have a 1-2-3 inning and it takes 10, 15 minutes because the pitcher is too slow. Or then you get a batter
That's
foul.
why I loved Roy Halladay.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Roy Halladay, you'd go to the game's first pitch, 7:05. You're Roy Halladay, complete game shutout. You're in your car at 9:30 going home. It was awesome.
That's what I used to like about Severino. Severino used to pitch that way. I mean, and then we're going back a little bit, but Ron Guidry with the Yankees back in the day. I mean, 8 o'clock. They used to start at 8 o'clock, but he'd be done by 9:30, 10 o'clock. Because he'd just go out there, get the ball, and just start pitching. Jim Cott was that way, too, the broadcaster.
Oh, yeah?
When he used to pitch, he pitched like he was double parked.
Nice.
I mean,
that's what we need.
He used to make the Jesse Ventura joke that you don't get paid by the hour.
Bob Branker says put the pitcher on a stopwatch like you said and make the batter stay in the box.
Yeah, well that's the
I agree with you because the fact that these hitters have to take a stroll around the box and fix their gloves and fix their junk and bang the dirt off their cleats after every pitch, I think it's just ridiculous and excessive.
Yeah, well that slows down the game as well. So.
Sixers need a hoop here. They're up 105-98-7. 3 here or
a 3 here
something good.
A 3 here basically puts it away. There you go. Nice move. Missed it.
It's all right. Good shot.
Yeah, you can't complain
Nothing wrong with that
that
set. Well, I mean, why is
can't somebody
who's supposed to be covering Trae Young in the half court? Because I bet you dollars to donuts, it's not supposed to be Al Horford. Not even picking him up till he gets to the foul line. There you go.
Who
is that? An M1? That's Tobias.
Oh, okay. I mean, but that's what they need to. That's what the Sixers need to do with the
buck
Hawks. They're
up
bigger
and get a stop.
They're
pick him up right there. He didn't get to the hoop, so I guess that's a win. That's fine. That's not fine.
See, that was good defense, but they're getting their.
Yeah, but they didn't get the rebound. They got another shot. That's a really good move. Is that Bruno Fernando? Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
Bruno
that was a sweet.
He's a real good player.
Yeah, that was a sweet move.
I wanted the Sixers to take him 21 when they made the move to. I wrote about it in my NBA mock draft. Hey, how about college? March Madness coming up.
Yeah,
Rutgers going to be in. Seton Hall going to be in.
That's going to be good. It's good for the state of New Jersey that we're going to get 2 teams in.
Yeah. I don't think Rutgers is all that good. I don't think they have the guns to do any damage. But
just
Seton
to get in, though.
Seton Hall might win the whole thing.
Yeah.
They're really good.
Yeah, no, but Rutgers has come a long way, Rob.
Oh, I'm not taking anything. I'm not taking any.
2 years ago,
they're even in the
2
conversation.
Years ago, they were 2-16.
Yeah.
Unlike the football team, they actually
got better.
Yeah, they actually recruited and got and play together as a team.
They play really good defense.
Yes, they do.
But they struggle to score.
Yeah,
which is a problem.
Yeah, especially on the road. They've been a terrible road team.
Well, they're in the Big Ten. No, everybody's horrible on the road in the Big Ten.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But they lost a game they should have won against Michigan. That was a bad loss.
Michigan has won 6 games in a row, and our boy Phil Martelli is really got him peaking at the right time.
I'm happy for him. I am rooting. I do root for Michigan to win now. I do root for them because of him.
Sure, we'll get him back on as we approach March.
If they get into the tournament, which I'm sure they will.
Yeah,
we could try to get him.
We need to. We gotta look into it.
Okay.
We're gonna look into it, and we'll get him back.
Yeah, he'll come on.
And
He's a good guy.
Last thing, we're gonna wrap up here, just a few minutes. I think this NFL CBA stuff.
Now that's going to be interesting, Rob.
I think this is going to be a problem for these owners. I don't think the players are just going to sign on the dotted line like they did last time.
The players,
I think they're going to play
this
hardball.
time. The players, they got him this time. Okay, the owners right now are making $7.5 billion on their TV deal.
They want to make 15.
They
now.
want to make $15 billion now. Okay, and you know what? They want an extra game and they want an extra playoff team. You know what? All the players have to do now is just take their time because the owners want it like that. They want this thing to be wrapped up.
No, they're being big dumb babies about it.
Yeah, they want their lollipop.
They want it now, and they're like that little kid.
Yeah, exactly.
That wants a balloon at
but
the
they can't do
dollar
it.
store,
But
and their parents say no, so they kick and scream until they get it.
But the players
need to hold strong.
The players, what they need to do is take the owners for every dime they can get.
Exactly. They should get a portion of the gambling money.
Oh, at least 40%, right?
I mean, whatever they think.
They're not getting anything right now. They should be getting at least 40%.
They get Ungats now.
I mean,
not
how many states now have legal bookmaking now?
PA, Jersey, Delaware,
Yeah,
Nevada.
I mean, come on. Players need to make some money.
Phone.
I mean, yeah, I mean, you know, that's
I made a bet on my phone before the show even started at 7.
But that's what I'm talking about.
Wonder if I'm winning. Now I'm interested. I forgot about it until right now.
But this is what I'm talking about. Okay? The players need to get that, and you know what? They need to get paid for these playoff games.
Oh, I don't want to hear
Don't
a
hear
thing.
this winner's share
I don't want to hear a damn
'Cause
thing
that's
about.
bullshit.
I don't want to hear a damn thing about player safety from Roger Goodell or these owners ever again,
Oh, they're
because
full of
they don't
crap.
give a shit that these players get CTE. They don't care. All they care about is them lying in their pockets with all this extra money that they don't want to share with the players. It's awful. So you want to add more playoff games, and you want to add more regular season games, and you want to tell me player safety is at the top of your list.
I do have one question. This extra game, where is it going to be played, and how are we going to do this? How is it going to be fair that?
No, because this is part of their game.
How's it going to be? But how's it going to be fair that the Dallas Cowboys are going to have 9 home games?
Yeah.
And the Eagles are going to have 8 home games.
You're completely right. You're completely
How's
right.
that fair?
It's not.
How are we going to do? What are we going to do? Have neutral site games now?
I hate when they do neutral site games in college. So
They're going to do
I
that
hope
in the
not.
pros? Are they going to like? I mean, to me, if you're
No, because that's going to be their excuse to squeeze another game in.
Well,
We can't do 17. We got to do 18.
No, they'll squeeze games in London. But you know what? How about if you're going to do that? If the pros and I'm proposing this, just it's an idea.
Well, I hate Jerry Jones. I think he's a total crumb.
But hear me out though about this. If the and I don't want them to do this because I think it's perfect the way it is. Okay, but if the owners do get their 17 game because the babies have to have their bottle, okay?
Yeah.
If they do get 17 games, how about the extra game gets played on a neutral site and the games get played across the country in some of the college stadiums? You know, like how about a game gets played in South Bend in Notre Dame Stadium? You know, or
Logical
what's
thing
fair.
to do if you want to get more games, which I want more football. Who doesn't want more football? But I do value exclusivity in my playoffs.
Well, yeah,
So I don't know how I feel about this 7-game playoff.
I have a problem already with the fact that teams are 9-7 and getting in, and 8-8.
You play two. Yeah, so we're gonna have teams below 500 being that last team in.
Well,
That team should be able to compete for a championship. That's just not me.
No,
That's just not me.
I have a problem
Sorry.
with that too.
So the most logical thing to do, you make 2 of the preseason games, regular season games. You have an 18-game schedule. You keep you start the season in August, so the Super Bowl is still February, early February, and 6 teams. 37.5% of the teams make the playoffs in the NFL. It's perfect. It's perfect.
So I'd be okay with that too. I mean, I'd be okay with 18 games.
But
I
you
just
can't
don't want
have
you to
17 games. It's an odd number.
Yeah, no, and it doesn't work.
Organizing
And
stuff, tournaments, stuff like that. It just doesn't work with odd
not,
numbers.
It's not fair. As I said, what are they going to do? Have neutral site games?
I don't know.
Or I mean, how is it fair if Dallas gets an extra home game over the Eagles?
Puts a team in Mexico or a team in London. Who knows what this animal's going to do? Roger Goodell, you suck. You suck.
He also he's ruined the game with taking the kickoff out of the game.
You should take notes from the XFL. Love their kickoffs. Anyway, we got to wrap up. It's been a great show. Great show. If you missed anything, stream us, SoundCloud, Google Play, Spotify. And as always, we'll be here each and every Monday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Until then, Rob Brinkman, Brad Ryer. Peace.